brass that had been through the fire. He had hair that looked like lamb's wool. He had the voice that was the sound of many waters. He had a linen girdle around his midriff. He had a two-edged sword that came from his mouth. And then he started talking and said, you know me, but you don't know me like you about to know me. I am Alpha and Omega. I'm the beginning and the end. I'm the first and the last. I was dead, but I've been to the cross and I've been to the grave. I've been into the bowels of death. I even made a short-term visit in hell itself. And I went inside and took the keys out. And I got the keys in my hand. John said, I never saw Jesus like this. This must be a dream. And he said, wait a minute. Before you stop dreaming, I got the keys of death, hell, and the grave. And not only am I alive, but I'm alive forevermore. And John, you're going to be all right. I got a hand, my right hand, I got 7 stars. And I walk among the 7 golden candlesticks. And don't worry about what you've been through. You're going to be all right, because it won't be long. And you're going to see the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of God as a bride adorned to a husband. And I'm going to bring in a new heaven and a new earth, and the old things shall be passed away, and everything's going to be new. And I'm going to dry all tears from your eyes, and you're going to have nothing but glory and honor and reigning with me forever. Somebody say that sounds like a mighty good dream. But what good would it be if you forget it? These are more than sleeping episodes that move the uncontained imagination. This is more than just a stage of possibility. There are dreams that are not just slights through the night, but there are dreams that are designed to be remembered in the day. There was a dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, and that dream was so dramatic, it blew the brake, busted the gasket. He dreamed a dream that broke the chains of his memory. So forceful, so shocking, that it fizzed the contaminant and it fizzed the carbonation out of his memory. Kept on shaking him and shaking him and shaking him until when it opened up, nothing even came out. He just dreamed a dream that was one that he could never remember, because it took him to another place in his life. Say amen. Edward DeWitt Jones says, where you are is not where you're going. All right. Say it again. Where you are, you and your teens, teenager. All you teenagers wave your hand and say, that's me, that's me. That's not where you're going. You'll be in your 20s. All you 20s people wave your hand. That's not where you're going. If you're in your 30s, let's put them together. 30s, 40s, and 50s. Guess what? That's not where you're going. 60s people and 70s. Put them all together. 60s and 70s. Guess what? You need to know that's not where you're going. Y'all in your 80s. Now you can have that all by yourself. All the 80 saints. Quit looking around, y'all. The 90s. The 90s. God bless you, mother. Oh, God. Give her a hand. Edward DeWitt Jones wrote, life, what is life? It keeps on changing. So expect it to change some more. He said you have tenderness in your teens. You're teachable in your 20s. You're tireless in your 30s. You're fiery in your 40s. Fervent in your 50s. Somebody say, read on. Fervent in your 50s. Fervent in your 50s. Fervent in your 50s. Silvery in your 60s. Saintly if you make it to your 70s. Aching in your 80s.
Saintly Mother Pinker.
And you just enjoy the night in your 90s. And you ought to get to your 90s or 80s or 70s or 60s or 50s or 40s or 30s or 20s or teens. Anywhere you ought to start singing, Lord, I'm running.
Lord, I'm running.
Trying to make 99. You're not going to stay where you are. Life is going to be with you for a long time. Though pleasant and though there are cloudy days, tis a heart to part and friends are dear. And perhaps will cost a sigh or a tear. Don't ever think where you are is where you're headed. And the cure for that is to get the God-given dream and keep on repeating it. Can anybody say yes? Yeah. That's the way it was when Zechariah was predicting what would happen 500 years later. I'm about to come in now. About 500 years later, way before there was a city called Nazareth. Zechariah said, I have a dream. Way before that donkey was born or the colt had ever been broken, Zechariah said, I got a dream. Way before the altar had been rebuilt and the walls of the city were up and they were celebrating Passover and the escape from Egypt land, Zechariah said, I see a dream. I can't tell you what Daniel saw. He saw 70 weeks. I can't tell you what Isaiah saw. Isaiah saw a virgin bearing a child. I cannot tell you what Ezekiel saw. He saw a wheel in the middle of the wheel. I can't tell you what Malachi saw. Malachi saw the sons of the fathers being turned back to each other. But I saw the people rejoicing. Saw the people that were sad rejoicing. Saw people that had been weak rejoicing. Thank you, Jesus. I saw people that had been through the storm and the rain rejoicing. I saw that it was so many people in the 19th century when Chancellor Bismarck of Prussia entered the city of Jerusalem. He was riding on a white horse. And the number of soldiers was so great that an entire section of the city wall had to be removed. Because over 500,000 people were trying to follow the king of Prussia as he celebrated Palm Sunday in the 19th century. But they didn't have quite that many when Zechariah had his dream. Say, preach, Bishop.
Preach, Bishop.
But they had so many people, over 25,000 were joining together to get ready to celebrate Passover in the city of Jerusalem. And they came from wall to wall. And they didn't know what to expect. They only had a dream that they had forgotten until here came a nameless rider riding on a donkey. The King James says an ox, he had a colt in tow, and they had forgotten that God that had done so much in the past had more in the tomorrow than all of their yesterdays. Y'all not gonna help me today. But they have forgotten that for any sickness that you could ever have, God already has your healing. They have forgotten for any break that you have endured, God already has a repair. Am I preaching, y'all? They have forgotten that for every emptiness that you've ever experienced, God has an infilling. They have forgotten for every disappointment, God has jubilation. They have forgotten that for every break, God has a remake. They have forgotten for every dark cloud, God has a silver lining. They have forgotten that for every midnight, God has But that day, Jesus, if you know him, say, I know him. Jesus, I ain't gonna preach no more. Jesus said, you don't have to wait anymore. Your dream was more than a figment of your imagination. Your dream was more than just prolonged wishful thinking. Your dream was more than just a story in a novel, or a play on the screen, or an act on the stage. Your dream, oh yes, your dream was more than just a reefer high, or a continuing shake from alcohol and liquor. Your dream was more than a fantasy of what could never be. Your king riding through the streets of your city. I am your hope. I am your solution. I am your springtime. I am your escape route. Say it real. Get real. Say it. Say it. I know why they kept forgetting their dream. I know why amnesia kept seizing their excitement. I know why their dream of joy was doused by perplexity. They left the main man out. Yeah. There's no main act without the main actor. Can you tell the story of the Wizard of Oz without Dorothy? Can you tell the story of Selma without Martin? Can you tell the story, Lord, if I had a praying church, of Montgomery without Rosa Parks? That's the main character in the story. Can you tell the story of Superman without Clark Kent? Can you tell the story of Robin without Batman? Can you tell the story of the Beverly Hillbillies without Greg? Can you tell the story of Sanford and Son without Fred? Can you, I'm coming to your neighborhood, tell the story of Kentucky Fried Chicken without Colonel Sanders? Can you tell the story of Mayberry without Andy Sayers? Can you tell the story of South Africa without Mandela? Can you tell the story of Church of God in Christ without C.H. Mason? Can you tell the story of Kansas City without Boone Tabernacle? Can you tell the story of your dream without the dreamer? Stand on your feet and say, Jesus is my story.